can I ask you for some tips for the essay writing? Yeah. What are your point of view? Yeah.
I would say if you are nervous about the essay, you don't know yet what you want to write about, think about all of the things you're going to be filling out. You're going to be filling out your extracurricular list. You're going to have people writing about you, and we're going to be looking for recommendations. We are also going to see your academic record. So is there anything that, as you're filling this out, that is important for you and important to you, is something that you think is valuable then for us to review? Then that might be the best place to start your essay, whether it's being impacted by a family member, whether it is an activity where you grew as a leader. All of these are great essay topics because we learn about you and a bit of insight into who you are. So I do find if you're nervous, that's probably the best question to ask yourself first.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So for the student, I think that you should be like confident about yourself and be yourself in the application process. Yeah, that may help you, right? Yeah, okay, thank you. So now I want to ask about the advice from Hamilton College. Do you have like any advice for the student because they are in the application process and they confused with many things? Yeah.
So yes, I can give advice about the application process. So I think Corianne shared a really important piece of feedback, which is the application process should be a reflective process as well. So understanding what is it that you are looking for in a college or university, and that can help you narrow your application list. And if you're trying to decide where you want to apply early decision, for instance, what is important to you, and knowing what your values are can be really helpful in that area. When it comes to your overall application, I think it's really important, of course, to be organized, make sure you're meeting all your deadlines and have all of your elements of your application represented. But once we get past that organization, knowing what the deadlines are and know where you want to apply, then I encourage you to think about your application in its entirety. Corey was also talking about this, the fact that we're reviewing your entire application, and oftentimes, usually, we review the entire application at one time, which means we're looking at your recommendation, your essays, your transcripts, all of those things at one time, as we are trying to imagine, one, of course, would you be able to be academically successful at our institution? But we're also trying to think, if we brought you here, what type of a community member would you be on campus? Which is why we want to get to know you a little bit better. And that's why the essay, as Corey said, should be a personal essay, which is going to be about something that's unique to you. My final piece of advice about balancing your whole application, realizing that we're all going to read it, is in the United States, we have a saying, and the saying is, you miss the forest because you are focused on the trees, right? So you're focused on each individual aspect of your application. So if we use this metaphor, a tree might be an essay, another tree might be your extracurriculars, another tree might be your recommendation letters. But if we focus so much on those individual items, we don't focus on how they connect together. We don't focus on the overall forest. So I encourage you to try and think about your application as a forest. Is it cohesive? Does it show all of the elements of you that are important that you want a college to think about? Are there sections that are repetitive? And maybe we can take those sections out. So try and think about, yes, the individual trees in your application, but how do those trees work together to make a forest? And that's how admission officers will consider a really well-rounded, cohesive application.
I always recommend writing about something that we don't see in your application. So if it's about, what you're interested in majoring in, we can kind of see that in your application. We can see the different extracurricular activities in your application. The essay is a great opportunity for us to get to know more about you and something that we're not reading about in your application. And I always recommend writing about something that you're passionate about, whether that's, a volunteer commitment you have outside of school, or whether it's a food that you enjoy or a business that you started, whatever it is. When I'm reading an application, I can always tell when a student is passionate about what they're writing about in their essay, and that really comes across. We can also tell if a student writes it the night before or if they've been working on this for a few weeks.